90.1 on the FM dial. And I tell you what, man, it is that time of the day. Critical Conversations. That's right. Brought to you by Socrates, Garrett, Dwayne Pickett, and myself, Napoleon Edwards. It is the talk show that talks the talk and also walks the walk. It's the most prolific talk show on talk radio. And I tell you, man, there's nobody else out here doing it like we're doing it. There's nobody else out here putting out the type of information that we're putting out for this African American community as well as the community abroad. All right? And if you are not anywhere, all right, I'm tell you where you need to be. All right? You need to be locked into 90.1 on Thursday mornings from 8 to 9, tomorrow mornings from 7 to 8. Wednesday from 10:30 to 12, Monday and Tuesday from 9 to 10. And then we're on Sunday from 1 to 2, and I think from 10 to 11 on Saturday or something. No, 7 to 8 or something on Saturday. But what I'm telling you, people, is that the efforts have been put in place. Men and women have put their monies where their mouth is. They have bought airtime, radio time, TV ads. They are aggressively seeking to raise the consciousness of this African American community. And people, I'm telling you, I went on a Renaissance mission yesterday. I went on a mission yesterday, and I had to do it. I had to travel down to the Mississippi State Fairgrounds. And I'll tell you why I had to go there, right? And I know I told people don't go, but I had to go. It was imperative for my dialogue this morning that I go, because the message must be clear. There's too much mud in the water, and the message that we have to stress in this African American community must be clear. So I walked the Midway yesterday. And I looked at all the vendors and all the people selling food and all the games, and I asked questions. Asked a couple of the vendors, where you from? About 4 of them told me the coast. Asked a couple of more, where you from? They told me up towards Aberdeen. All of those vendors were Caucasian descent. And then I walked around on the other side and saw other vendors selling sausages, Italian sausages, and fried ice cream, and all of the stuff that we like. All of the stuff that's catered towards us. All of the stuff that's designed to make our health bad. And I asked them, where you from? I'm from Biloxi. I'm from Hattiesburg. I'm from Aberdeen. And guess what color they were? They were white. And when I stood there and I looked at all of the people buying their food, guess what color they were? They were black. And so I walked down a little more, then I finally saw, in the ocean of Caucasian vendors, I saw 1 or 2 black vendors. I asked them where they from. Well, I think 1 or 2 might said here, and someone else might say Meridian. And I looked at their operation. They didn't have the line like the other white vendors had. Matter of fact, many of them were standing around looking at their phone. And I began to understand that we are really, really in a fix. We're in a pickle. We're in a pickle. We're in a pickle when 89% of the population of Jackson, Mississippi, the capital city of Mississippi, is African American. And when the fair comes to town, that the majority of the people that support the fair are African American. And we only make up about 0.8% of the vendors. Let me just bring that home for you this morning, listening audience. Let me help you, because you know I love numbers, right? I'm a statistic type guy. I'm a student of statistics. And so when you break down how long the dollar stays in the African American community nationwide, the national level says it stays in our community about 6 hours. For the Caucasian, it stays in their community about 23 hours. And for the Asian community, it stays in their community about 28 hours. So if you take those same components on top of the Mississippi State Fair, where the dollar would have stayed in our community 6 hours, you put the fair in with it, it doesn't stay in our community 30 seconds. Mr. Sheriff, I did it last night. 30 seconds. The moment you spend that dollar with that white vendor for Biloxi, the moment you spend that dollar with that white vendor for Aberdeen, that white vendor from down on the other end of Mississippi somewhere, it's gone. It's never to return. Done. Now, I want to ask you something this morning, listening audience. And the call-in line is open. Because y'all always say I'm ranting and raving and I'm fussing. But one thing about it, I tell the truth. I want to ask you something this morning. If you were filling your car up every day with $40 worth of gas, and you had a hole in your gas tank, tell me how much gas you're losing and how much money it's costing you. How far would you get on that? How far would you get on that? If you were putting $40 worth of gas in your tank a day, and you had a hole in your tank, and you was trying to travel 5 to 6, 8 miles a day to work and back home, say 16-mile radius back and forth to where you work, sleep, eat, and play, how far would you get a day? So when you fill up at the gas station, you're not realizing you got a hole in your tank. You drive on to work, you get to work, hey, I just put 40 in here. Well, maybe something just wrong with you. You come out of the job, well, damn, I'm back on E. You go back to the gas station, you put enough for it, so you out of 80 right there in a day's time, and you haven't even realized you got a leak in your tank. A lot of you gonna sit around and keep driving talking about, oh, well, something must be wrong with my gas hand. What I'm telling you, people, you'll be getting bled out and won't even know it. You'll be getting bled out and won't even know it. Well, that's what's happening in the African American community. We're being bled out. We are hemorrhaging from the inside. You don't hear nobody talking about it. You got math teachers in JPS. You got economics teachers at JSU. You got pastors and preachers throughout this community. You don't hear anybody crying out about that. Man, listen, that is more deadly to us than any virus, than any pandemic, scandemic, pandemic. The fact that you don't have economic empowerment, the fact that you are not economically in a position to survive, that alone is a crisis. And you wonder why I get on the radio and raise my voice in the morning. I could be in the bed asleep right now. I could be out on the job site working my construction business. But it's imperative that you people understand what's going on. You walk down to the fair in this lazy day mentality, I'm going to have fun, and you not realize you walking into the lion's den. You're walking into the lion's den, and I know black people sitting around saying, well, Darren Polo, why you got to be so critical? But it's the fair. I want to go have fun. I get it. I get it. But what are you getting out of it? You get 3 hours of entertainment. You lose millions of dollars out of your economic empowerment process in your community. None of that money returns to your community. It doesn't go to your schools. It doesn't help your infrastructure. It doesn't employ any. And let me just say this, people. And I'm not being critical. I'm being very serious. Have you even looked at the look of the people that are working at the fair? Have y'all looked? Have y'all looked at those white people? Have you looked how they look? Have y'all taken time to even look at them? And then I looked at us. I looked at how we look down there. I looked at black people up and down here. I know some people, I said, why is he staring at me? Man, dude, have y'all looked at how we look lately? There isn't even any hope in the eyes of our people. We don't even have the look of hope in our eyes. We like sheep being led to the slaughter. 89% of this population is African American. Let me tell you how this works. If a black customer spends $1 in a black-owned restaurant, and the owner spends the same dollar to buy produce from a black farmer, then the dollar remains in the black community up until that point. All right? So now watch this though. If a black customer spends $1 on service at a black beauty salon, and the hairstylist then uses the same dollar to pump gas at one of these Korean or Indian gas stations, not owned by a black person, that dollar is no longer circulating in the black community. It's gone. Never to return. You won't see it again. It ain't coming back. It ain't gonna descend from the clouds with Jesus and his army. It's gone. It's poverty in the making, people. And when you sit around and wonder, well, what we gonna do about crime? Well, what we gonna do about this? What we gonna do about all that killing? You can't stop none of that till you stop poverty. It's poverty in the making. Somebody still ain't got that yet. Maybe it'll register in a minute. Poverty in the making. You're creating your own poverty, black people. You're creating it. And then you have people like Vernon Harley, Aaron Banks, and Kenny. You don't get no pass anymore. I'm not giving Kenny Stokes passes anymore. Somebody else can give them to him. I don't have any more for Councilman Stokes. Just like I didn't have any for Charles Tillman. You sit in wars 20, 30 years, and you vote against the people. You strangle growth and development because of your mentality that I'm going to be knocked out of the box. You got to be called to the carpet. You got to be dealt with. Ain't nowhere in the world Georgetown's supposed to look the way it looks. It's a historical district. Ain't no way the Washington district is supposed to look the way it looks. It's a historical district. Matter of fact, the Washington district is listed as a historical site because in the early 60s, well, no, it might have been before the 60s, it was one of the few places where the first black-owned post office was established. I know y'all didn't know that. While y'all over there claiming sets and streets and blocks. One of the first black-known post offices in the state of Mississippi was right there in the Washington district. You don't hear nobody advocating for that. You don't hear nobody advocating for why we don't have a marker there, or why we're not reminiscing or making a monument to as a goalpost for our people. And then y'all wonder why we sit and we talk. People like myself, people like Pastor Pickett, people like Leroy Walker, people like Socrates Garrett. People that have it, they got it. Hey, ain't no doubt about each one of the men I just named are financially secure. That's no doubt, and we shouldn't hate on them for that. Matter of fact, we should be trying to learn how they did it and what is the means and how do we meticulate to get to that same level. As long as he ain't got to cut nobody else's throat off to get there. Long as you not downtrodden other African Americans to get to your wealth, then brothers, sisters, I'm 100% for it. I'm telling you, there's something wrong with us if we think that, well, he got it or she got it, and I'm mad because they got it. Well, listen, brother, if they bless somebody else while getting it, if they raised up somebody else while getting it, if they employed somebody else by getting it, what are you upset about? What are you upset about? We need people to encourage other people to be economically inclined. We got enough food. Let me tell you how bad this is. If JPS issued a memo this morning, said that there will be no more sports in JPS, if there will be no more sports, do you not know African American parents who have not been to one school board meeting, who have not attended one PTA meeting, who have not sought to check not one piece of homework, who have not went down to the school to be a role model or a hall parent to not one child? Do you not know they would come out of the woodworks? They would raise holy hell saying that, what, you cutting all sports in JPS? Why? We did this. We paid it. We paid it. Do you not know black folks they would turn over. If you told Provine they didn't have a football team no more the rest of the season, Lanier couldn't play football, Wingfield, Merrill couldn't play football, Callaway couldn't play. Man, black folks would rise up in this city. They'll be ready to take the head off of JPS for a football game. For a football game. Not even realizing that it is about a 1 in 100,000 of a tenth opportunity that one of those black boys will make it to the NFL. It is a 1 in a 100,000 percentage that a black child playing in any scholastic sports would make it to the NFL, even though we make up the large percentage of NFL players. There are only, 32 teams? 28, however many. But watch this. That same group of people will sit silent while the halls of academia and academiac, which will educate a black child on finances, STEM school, or anything else like that, they will sit silent while that type of school is closed or not even open. Now you think about that, people. You think about that. We rather think, well, I believe that my child can make it to the NFL. We rather watch them play, jump, run, skip, and hop than put a computer or a book in front of them and teach them economic empowerment just in case sports don't work. You know how many athletes got millions of dollars and blow them and now are in bankrupt because they didn't know economic empowerment? They didn't have financial literacy. And we promote that. Matter of fact, just the other day at the Rotary Club, one of the persons running for sheriff, and I'm going to call his name, and I'm going to put the clip up. Tyree Jones said the other day at the sheriff debate for the Rotary Club that degrees in education are not important in law enforcement. He don't have one. It never saved his life. He don't see no need of it. People, let me tell you something. If that's what we're promoting in the African American community, that you don't need an education, that you don't need to try to better yourself book-wise, sense-wise, you don't need to read, you can just go out here and fumble and flop and fail and make mistakes and then say, oh, well, I got it now. Listen, people, we in big trouble. And Tyree Jones ought to be banned from this community for making such a statement. When you have 115 murders in the capital city, 98% of them are African American children from the ages of 18 to 35, many of them that did not graduate from high school, many of them that never held a full-time job prior to their demise in the community by gun violence. And you got a person running for sheriff that has the nerve to say that in front of white Rotary Club members? People. That don't get no pass in this community. Ignorance don't get a pass in this community anymore. Well, somebody might say, well, Polo, he just don't know no better. That don't get no pass. And if he don't know no better, it's more the reason why he should not be in the race. Education is everything. What you mean you don't need no education? If you can't balance a checkbook, how you gonna know what's coming in and what's going out? If you sitting up and you don't have a credit score over 600 or 605, how can you be a plus to your community or your home? But you take every dollar that you make and you take it down to the Mississippi State Fair, hand it to a white Caucasian vendor that's going to take it up out of your community the moment you hand it to them. Do you not know that every time you at the fair, every 2 or 3 hours, they have people, couriers, running up to those booths, picking up that money, getting it on up out of there? And you mean to tell me somebody running for sheriff would say that in the front of white constituents who live in this city that only make up 12.6% of the population of this city? And those white constituents live at a higher quality of life than the majority of black people? Tyree Jones, you are a cancer to our community. Children should not hear that. As a matter of fact, it should be banned off of social media, that no child could even hear it and think that that is the way of life. Every black child needs an education, rather it's public education and he goes on to college and gets a degree, or if it's a trade education and he goes on to trade school and get a trade. Every black child needs an education. Every black child needs a piece of paper. Rather it's a diploma that says I'm a doctor, associate, or a bachelor, or rather it's a contract agreement, or rather it's a diploma from a trade school that gives him the opportunity to go out and have a contract. What you mean black children don't need no degrees? They don't save lives. Degrees save lives. Education saves lives. The more money you make, the better you want to live, the more you see, the more opportunity that come your way. How are we not teaching that in African American homes day in and day out? How are we not teaching that in African American churches day in and day out? That ain't, I'm just saying. Y'all talk to me. Calling line is open, 601-948-5950. You glued in to critical conversations. Of almost 2,700 Mississippi businesses registered by the U.S. Small Business Administration, about 470 are black-owned. The black dollar is significant in today's economy, and it would be more powerful if African Americans spent their money among themselves. In the early 70s, the 70s and the 60s, the Farish Street district was considered the black Mecca. Farish Street, once referred to as the Black Mecca, was booming and was nationally known as a hub for black-owned businesses up until 1970. It's 2021, and Farish Street sits silent now. Man, we ought to be ashamed. Black people ought to be ashamed. You black people, you ought not be at the job talking about nothing but black empowerment. You ought not comment on nothing going on in the whole wide world. If you living in Mississippi and the Farish Street district sits depleted, void of black businesses, void of black opportunity, void of black bodies and faces, void of a place for black children to go and look and admire black greatness. (1970). Up until 1970, it was nationally known as the hub for black-owned business. Now, do y'all know what a hub means? Do y'all know what a hub? That means that the Farish Street district was birthing black businesses. It was an incubator for black greatness, for black wealth. And here we are in 2021. Go ahead, caller, you on there.
Hey, how you doing? I think you misread Tyree Jones of what statement that you just made. 97% of the shares in the state of Mississippi does not have education. What he said is that you do not have to have an education to be the sheriff of Hinds County. Now look at the percentage of the sheriffs that have education in the state of Mississippi. 97% of them does not have degree, is not educated.
Okay, caller, and I'll give you that. Let me ask you this. But because the 97% don't have one, do that make it right?
It's been working so far.
I mean, tell me how is it working, caller? When you got sheriff departments being caught up in all type of corruption, you got sheriff departments being caught up in all type of misappropriation of funds, you got sheriffs killing people, inmates dying under their watch in their county jail. So, caller, you got to make it make sense. How has it worked when you got sheriff departments all across this state under federal investigations? Madison County, Hinds County is under consent decree. We at the point of losing our jail right now as we speak. So you gonna say because the number that says what 97, not the 97% without an education shows you that majority of the Mississippi counties, because the sheriff is a political seat, 82 counties in Mississippi, majority of the Mississippi counties outside of Hinds and Holmes are ran by Republican white folks.
Your figures are wrong. I think you need to look at your figures.
I don't have to look at the figures. I'm looking at what I'm talking about. I'm telling you what's real.
You have to look at the people. You have to look at the people that are.
Okay, so you're saying 97% of the people that sheriff don't have a college degree, and you're saying that that's okay. That's what you're saying in 2021. You're saying that's okay.
I'm saying it's working.
No, you saying, I'm asking you, are you saying it's okay? I want you to go on record as saying that it's okay because 97% of the sheriffs don't have a college degree, that black children, you don't need to try to worry about no education. That's what you're saying, Carl. Now, you might be trying to go back door and say it, but I can read between the lines. That's what you're saying. You're saying to black children, education is not important.
I didn't say that.
Well, that's what you're saying. You say you support the 97% that don't have a college degree?
To be the sheriff, man. To be the sheriff for the
it's still the same thing. It's the same message, caller. You just package it in a different way.
Well, I can't argue with you. Thank you.
You sure okay? You can't beat me in the brain with numbers. You're saying what you're saying. You're saying that because 97% of the sheriffs in Mississippi don't have college degrees. In other words, in retrospect, you're saying, well, black kids, if you want to be the sheriff, you don't need to worry about having no college degree. Just go out there and be the sheriff. Send penis pictures while you're a police officer like Tyree Jones did. Send penis pictures to your subordinates. Keep fumbling, mistreat your wife, abuse other officers while you in position, and you can still be the sheriff. Just keep fumbling till you make it. Fake it till you make it. But if you had an education, see, if Tyree Jones had an education, if he had a college degree, had he have been somewhere where you had to sit in the classroom and learn something, learn ethics, and learn etiquettes, then guess what? He wouldn't have the type of situation he got right now. He wouldn't be mad at folks that got an education and he didn't. Go ahead, Carly, on there.
What's going on, Polo?
I'm good. How you doing?
Polo, let me try this avenue. Now, if you're going to be elected for sheriff, shouldn't there be some training through different academies and different areas of training before even being qualified for sheriff? That just me thinking. Now, I think there should be some type of training before you even, want to even try to qualify for sheriff.
At
least be through the academy. Go through the academy.
I agree with you, Carla, but the sheriff's seat in the state of Mississippi is an elected position. Let me also tell you this. It's one position where you can be a convicted felon and still be sheriff.
We can leave part 1 and part 2, okay?
Yeah, I mean, people, you got to be able to understand. And I don't want to turn this into no whole sheriff thing, but I think it was imperative that I tie in the fact that the economic disparity that we see in our community and that we face comes from when we have people like Tyree Jones that stands up in a Rotary Club meeting among white constituents and says that, you know what, education ain't never saved my life. You don't need it. That's a derogatory statement. Do you know how many African-American children were just murdered in the streets of Jackson this year that had not been going to school, had been skipping school, had dropped out of school? And you mean to tell me education don't save lives? Come on, black people. Go ahead, Carl, you on there.
You are absolutely correct in what you're saying. I was riding in my car listening to you, and I'm like, I wish I could meet this man. First of all, don't take the 97% of the sheriffs as the gospel truth. Mississippi has 82 counties, and that would mean that 79 of them out of the 82 did not have a degree. It is pivotal that these black children go to school and get an education. I preach it, and I'm going to keep preaching it. I'm over 60 years old. And if they don't like it, so be it. As an educator and retired, I tell you what, I'm tired of seeing poverty and ignorance and stupidity and everything you said almost pulled on the side of the road and called you. But the first thing to look at is to see whether or not the 97% is accurate, because I don't believe it is accurate out of the 82 counties in the state of Mississippi.
I don't believe it either.
You keep pushing the good work because it is pitiful and it is ridiculous. And as someone who I guess fits in the senior category, it makes me sick what I'm seeing, knowing that I was born in the late 50s and all of this foolishness and this mess that's going on now. 115 murders at Jackson, black on black, most of them, probably 111 or 12 out of the 115. It is absolutely ridiculous, and it's going on all over the state and all over the country. When a 7-year-old kid sitting in the car at the washer with his mama was killed in Clarksdale, black, just a few days ago, a 7-year-old young black male kid. It is absolutely ridiculous, and it's pathetic, and I'm sorry, I'm getting so hyped up about
You
this.
supposed to get hyped up, caller. You supposed to get hyped up. We ain't supposed to be sitting in silence while our children are being gunned down by high-powered rifles that were committed to cause war and havoc against the enemy. You're not my enemy, caller. You're not my enemy. No, my enemy is ignorance. My enemy is poverty. My enemy is political pimps in pulpits and people that I've elected to go down and serve the people, and instead they serve themselves.
That is right. And one other thing. If Hinds County being the largest county in the state of Mississippi out of those 82 counties, it is stupidity to say that a college degree, even a master's degree, wouldn't enhance your chances. So if you have the education and the law enforcement put together, then that's going to enhance your chances of being a good sheriff should you be elected. Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller. Go ahead, caller. You on there? Turn your radio down.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yes. Am I there?
Go ahead, caller. You on there?
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, man, a lot of the candidates running for sheriff and constable and all those sound like they have education. And bad that he was him on the radio. And, you know, I heard Larry, Big Larry, running for constable. And he made it very clear that, you know, he played pro football. That ought to qualify him for being a constable. And, you know, it's comical. I laugh too. And I'm like, you know, where's the pool of people that's running that's even worthy of it? When you having to pick three of the ones that neither one of them are worthy of it, you have to pick the best out of the handful of people that's running just to have a candidate. And he ain't worth it.
Brother,
none of them worth it.
you let me tell you where that's coming from now, and listen to what you're saying, because that's man, you done brought out a hell of a point. Oh, okay, so the three folks that we have in some of these races ain't qualified to be a dog catcher. But watch this. Brother, if we had a public school system that taught our young people civic duty and the responsibility of staying active in your community so that your community doesn't look the way it looks, then you wouldn't have three clowns like this that get up and say, well, I just want to be something. I'll run for this. You see what I'm saying? Forcing the people's hand to vote for stupidity.
Yeah.
It's
And
crazy,
then,
man.
I really have to say, man, the people that's voting are part of the problem.
Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about it.
But we voting for the same old people that can't do it. And, you know, you take a nice man that was a Sunday school teacher or somebody sitting on the porch, you grew up knowing them, they don't make him fit to be in that position. You know, I got a lot of respect for my Sunday school teacher, but they're not fit to be in over a $50 million budget. You know, I just don't trust them with being in that position. And anyway, thank you for taking my call. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. You still got him? Go ahead, Carl, you on there.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
For one,
turn your radio down, Doc.
Man, my radio, I'm almost off, I guess. Let me turn it off. Hey, don't you think something's going on in Jackson because, you know, you don't even never see the federal authorities on none of this stuff. And I think, you know, if they're not going to have a integrity unit, you got to look at the makeup of the sheriff department. All your corrupt officers leave JPD, go to Hinds County. I mean, first of all, we have a problem within that sheriff department. So that's why I'm supporting Beverly William Harris. I mean, somebody who may have to reach out and change the condition on the ground here in Jackson, because this corruption is just high, heavy, and it stinks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think she's more qualified, and if the black women going to come out and vote tomorrow, I think it's time to put a black woman in that office that can make a change. Like, she's more qualified than any other candidates, and on a federal level, we can cut out this foolishness, because it's something going on with those sheriff deputies. It's corruption within there.
Well, dog, listen. It's corruption throughout the whole state of Mississippi. Mississippi is the #1 corrupt state in the union. Now watch this. Now we got sheriff deputies down there under the previous administration, may leave and rest in peace, that's been bringing contraband into jail since they've been there. Contraband is a big business down at the Raymond County Detention Center. It can't get there without black deputies bringing it down there, okay? Now, I don't have nothing personally against Beverly Harrowig, but I don't think I'm going to ask you, Carl, where she been at prior to now?
Well, you know...
I'm just saying, Carl, you got to be able to give me... Listen to me, because me and you dead-eyed, I know who this is. Listen to me. You got to be able to give me off the top of your head, when I ask you those type of questions, you don't have, it shouldn't be see, when we start talking about electing folk, you shouldn't have to go look at her push card. You shouldn't have to wonder. You should be able to say, based on see, this is what's wrong with the black community. We be wanting to elect people, oh, well, she talk good. Hell, I listened to Beverly the other day on here. The woman couldn't even say desensitized. She didn't know how to pronounce it. Now, I'm not saying she don't know, man. I didn't say she got a speech impediment or what. But what I'm saying is this. We need people that can think on their feet, brother. And just like I'm asking you, when I ask you what has she done in the community, you should be able to spontaneous in-fight night tell me, well, Cypher, she's been doing this since she left the FBI. She's been doing that.
Well, first of all, what she's done is she's retired. And she did put over...
Say no more. That's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear, Colin. That's my point. She's been retired. And she tired. She's been retired and she tired. That's my point. She ain't done nothing. That's my whole point, people. Ain't done nothing. I mean nothing. People get up and talk about, well, I did this with the FBI. I served this many years with JPD. I served this many years with the Sheriff Department. I want to see a report card. I want to see a report card. I don't want to hear what you did. I want to see a report card. And when your supporters call here to try to endorse you on this show, you got to know they've set you up. They're setting you up because I'm going to blast you. So whoever you call to try to plug in and get your support, well, go ahead and call Polo Show and say my name. They setting you up because that's what I tell you. You tell Beverly Williams come sit her tail up in this seat beside me. I'm on the radio 7 days a week. You tell Tyree Jones come sit up in here. You tell Leon Seals. Come tell Richard Spooner. Come tell Tan Hill. Tell either one of them to come sit here, and I guarantee you I'll dethrone every last one of them. I don't want to talk about what you got on no paper. Do you know there's folks that's on paper that says they are not guilty that are guilty, that committed crimes? Go ahead, caller, you on there?
How you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
All right, this is my opinion, several things now. I hear you talking. Education is important, but we got to still understand that everybody, decipher whoever it is, everybody ain't qualified to be a doctor. Everybody ain't going to be an engineer. So whatever job you can get to be successful in it, put your best foot forward.
I agree with you on that.
If you're going to be a ditch digger, be the best ditch digger you can be.
Well, you need to go learn how to be a ditch digger.
Hold on. Let me finish. Every white person is not an engineer, but you got white people that could take a grass cutting and make it $1 million industry. You got black people can do the same thing if only we apply ourselves in the right way. I'm a law officer. I understand everything you say, but I got a degree too. So, but you don't have to have a degree to be successful. It does.
I didn't say you had to have it, but what I'm saying is this, caller. Let me say this, caller.
It does help.
Listen to me. Let me say this, because I'm going to let you talk, but let me say this.
Okay.
Because I can't let you control the narrative. If you want to control the narrative, then you got to get your show. But I'm going to let you say this. I'm going to say this. Watch this. You can say, well, you don't have to have a degree, and you're right. You can go get a trade. But anytime we have African American leaders standing up while cameras are rolling, while white folks who stress education in their community sits up and running for a public seat and makes the statement, and I don't care how y'all trying to dress it up, he said it, and I'm gonna hold him to it. He said, education is not important. That's what he said. He said, education never saved my life. That's what he said. And he's saying that, and you can say he might be saying it because the other people on the panel got an education and he don't, or he feel like he missed out on his education. But let me tell you something. He must be held accountable for that statement in his African-American community when education has saved the life of many black children as well as older people. We need education. And for a person that wants to lead in this community to say that we don't need education is not important is a sad indictment on the African-American community, and I'm going to hold Tyree accountable if don't nobody else hold him accountable.
Hold up just like, wait, 1 second. We missing the whole content of what's going on here. If you don't have education, you still could be successful.
I'm not saying you can't.
Education is important, but just in case you can't, so why not try to advance? If you don't learn the craft as being a sheriff, or you don't learn the craft as being a butcher, why not try to advance in that field? If you don't have education,
Mute your phone, Pickett.
It still can move up, and you still can move up. And you still can move up.
Let me ask you this, Carl. Let me put it to you like this. Let me ask you this question. If you met this young lady, I'm painting a picture. Beautiful young woman. She told you she liked you. She never told you she was HIV positive. And y'all dated for years, months, years, and finally get to that day where y'all go climax and have sex. And you know all the components that could come along with having sex. Y'all ain't went and had no HIV test together to see if she positive or not. And she tell you, well, you don't need that condom. You just come on and have sex with me. And you say, well, you know what? I could, and ain't nothing gonna happen. You just as beautiful, I've been dating you this long. And you have sex and you end up 2 years later with HIV. Now, what would you think about that?
Now, see, now you're mixing apple with oranges. See,
I'm showing you. No, I'm painting the picture because sometimes with black folks, you got to break it all the way down. So I'm painting the picture and showing you how deadly sex can be without a condom, and I'm showing you how deadly life can be without an education. Have a nice day. You're not going to control the narrative. Pete got to mute his phone. You can't control the narrative. If you do, you got to get your own talk show. They need you up here at wmpr, and you can buy you some airtime. See, you can't call this station and big brain me. I'm the master thinker over here. It ain't going to happen, people. And I know clearly when folks are trying to use words to matriculate or to lead conversation or to spew my audience into thinking, well, Polo being a little too critical. I'm just asking them a question. What's the difference? You go out here and you sit out here and have sex and could possibly get HIV and knowing you need a condom on because you don't know this person's history. That's deadly. Well, it's no deadly than a person sitting up saying you don't need no education. That's deadly too. What's the difference? Both of them cost you your life. People, it's time to wake up. Pick it, call back, man. You had that phone. You got to mute that phone when you call back. Pastor Pick, call back, man. I know you got something you want to say. We hitting heavy over here today. Listen, man, economic empowerment is a must. Spiritual empowerment is a must. Physical empowerment is a must. Every area of life for the African-American Negro and Negroette, we must step up to the plate, and we must handle our business. Go ahead, caller, you on there.
There is no call in the queue. Thank you.
Go ahead, caller, you on there.
Well, good morning, Mr. Polo. How are you?
Mr. Lee Bernard, I know that voice from anywhere. Omega Man, how you doing this morning, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. I know you changed subjects, but when you ask who knows something about Beverly Harris Williams, I know something about her. Today is Thursday. She's probably over at Lanier High School volunteering her time in the community. I know she has helped a lot of times in giving out water during the water crisis we've had here in Jackson. So I do know Beverly Williams. I know she grew up in Georgetown off of Lavernet Road.
Okay.
Okay, outside of all the credentials on her car, she's the best qualified person out there.
Well, Ms. Bernard, I appreciate your opinion. Have a nice day now.
Thank you, my opinion.
Go ahead, caller, you on there. Go ahead, caller, you on there. Go ahead, caller.
There
You
is
on
no
there?
call in the queue. There is no. Thank you.
Go ahead, caller. You on there?
There is no call in the queue. Thank you.
What it is, Sher? I'll get him over here. Let him come on through, Sher. I got him. I see
No
him,
call
Pop.
in the queue. Thank you.
Go ahead, caller. You on there?
Let it clear out.
Go ahead, caller. You on there?
Hey, Cypher, real quick, I just want to give you the importance of education. I was in a law enforcement training a long time ago with a predominantly African-American class, and the instructor kept bringing up the Fagan law, and everybody was just nodding their head. And when we took a break, I said, "Sir, I don't think nobody here knows who Fagan is." And he's like, I didn't think about that. Who is Fagan? I said, he's the leader of the band of pickpockets in the book Oliver Twist, which was required reading back when you were in elementary school. Nobody in that training, learning law for law enforcement, knew who Fagan was from a book that you had to read back in elementary. That's why education is important.
It's important, caller. Thanks for calling, caller. I got to get these other calls. Go ahead, caller. You on there? Go ahead, caller. You on there?
What about my Sean Christmas? You ain't mentioning nothing about him.
There is no call in the queue. Thank you.
Go ahead, caller. You on there?
Beverly Harris, man, is the most educated candidate that we
Okay.
have.
All right, call back when she got a show, caller. Dude, this is not campaign season.
I'll bring on the show if you want.
This is not campaign season, people. You can't campaign on this show. I'm telling you, we not gonna do that. You call some other show and do that. Y'all want, if you believe that, then that's what you do. You go out and vote for them on November 2nd. But don't call this show trying to campaign for no. Beverly Harris ain't paid for one moment of airtime over here. You don't get to endorse her on my show. Do y'all think I'm crazy? Do y'all? I mean, serious. Do y'all actually think I'm slow like that? I'm just gonna let you keep calling here. She done set y'all up to call this line, and I'm gonna keep letting you say, well, Susan, it's the same people call. Quit that foolishness, black folks. Quit that foolishness. Don't call here endorsing nobody on this show. I'm here to execute candidates. I ain't here to lift them up. Go ahead, Pick. You on the line, man.
Hey, good morning, man.
Good morning, brother. You just left me here all by myself. Y'all know not to leave me alone. I'll cut up.
Well, that's all right. I just want to say, man, on the topic, is right now the reason I'm not there is because I'm headed to the inauguration of Thomas Hudson, his presidency in Jackson State. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because Thomas Hudson is from Jackson, Mississippi. Thomas Hudson went to school in Jackson, Mississippi. He graduated from Jackson State University. He went on to get a JD degree. And for us to even be saying anything, anybody that says anything negative regarding people getting education or what education we should have is a direct affront to what's happening, the ancestors whose shoulders we stand on as we walk through this. We stand on the shoulders of the ancestors who fought hard to found Jackson State, Tougaloo College, and so many others. I think it's absolutely ludicrous. Now, when we start talking about can a person be successful, a person can be successful with or without degrees. However, it is important that we understand that the reason degrees are important is because it gives you a foundation. So when you start talking about a position like governor or a position like sheriff of a county, it is not just a law enforcement issue, it's a political issue. It's knowing the laws, it's knowing management. My Lord, we're managing a $30 million budget. And I just think it's important that people understand that for us, in particular, the African Americans, to say anything negative about education is absolutely asinine.
Well, Pastor,
so I just want to share that.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. I want to say this, man. Send Dr. Hudson my regards. I couldn't make it, but listen, I'm gonna say this because I think it's important. Even this week, we had people trying to call this platform to try, knowing it was homecoming week, knowing it was Dr. Hudson's inauguration, trying to put an implement like a scandal had broke out at Jackson State, trying to downsize the success of Dr. Hudson going into this inauguration. And brother, I'm telling you something, when you got black folks playing them kind of games in this community, man, we are in bad, bad trouble. Do you hear what I'm telling you? We are in bad trouble, man, when folks pick up the phone and stage phone calls and try to tell you, oh, this is going on at Jackson State, this is going on at Jackson State, y'all need to be on the web, and can't produce not one shred of evidence or documents for their claim. Pierre, I don't roll like that. I'm telling you, and I'm going to call you out on it. If you're doing it, I'm going to call you out on it. It needs to be addressed.
Well, there's something wrong with that. And, you know, as we were working and supporting him and writing letters and speaking to people, I was amazed at the number of Jackson State alumni and Jacksonians that were against him. And one of the things we've been praying for and asking for was for the State College Board to choose a Jackson State alumnus as the leader of the institution. That hadn't happened in, I think, since Dr. Peoples. So when that's about to happen, and that happens, it boggles my mind to think that people that have been asking for that, they receive that, but they attack it. Yeah. And we gotta rise higher than that. We gotta hold him accountable.
Yeah. We gonna hold him accountable, Pick. And you go ahead on, man, and then give that invocation. Send our regards from over here to Dr. Hudson and the whole JSU alumni family. Listen, bruh, it is the time clock on the wall says that's all, man. Love you, brother. Peace out. I'll catch up with you later on this evening. To all of you that are listening right here to WMPR 90.1 100,000 watt station, you've been locked into Critical Conversation, brought to you by Socrates Garrett, Dwayne Pickett, and Napoleon Edwards. Listen, man, keep it locked right here to WMPR 90.1 100,000 watt station. We'll be back tomorrow morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. for more Critical Conversation. Then we'll be back Saturday, and check us out Sunday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I'm telling you, we got a special treat for you. It's going to be lit up in here. Keep it locked, man. Tune right here to WMPR, 100,000 watt station.
The views